Welcome into the Press Row Show, the #1 rated pregame, intermission, and postgame show this side of the Mississippi, south of the Arctic Circle, north of the equator. And we are in for one heck of a game. My friends, we said to you at the end of last week, it'll be interesting to see what the breakdown of Rangers and Flyers fans will be. Who could ever forget what happened in this barn? Oh, how many years ago was it, Anthony? It was March 2nd of 2023, nearly 2 years ago. We'll call that almost 2 years. It's like, what, a year and 3/4?
Yes.
When the Rangers fans overwhelmingly took over this building like a 70-30 New York crowd. It was absolutely astounding. I showed it this morning on the Russ Show. You can see the Rangers score a goal, and the whole place just moves like it's Madison Square Garden. We didn't know what it was going to look like. We said that a lot of people who bought tickets to start the season would do so because of Matvei Mishkov. There are a considerable number of Rangers fans, as we speak, more Rangers fans come up to the balcony level. The stands have not yet filled out, but let's give people some honest insight before we break down the game itself. What do you think the current breakdown is? Look over your shoulder, too. Look down at the glass. Holy.
Yeah, before I do, I just want to ask you, how's your hangnail? Is it okay?
I'm fine.
All right, just making sure.
I'm fine.
Everybody's back today. Like, you're back, and Mertitas is back on the radio, so Bundy's, we'll actually have some Bundy
a lot of illness
pre-game
going around.
Yeah.
It's that season, you know?
Yeah, well, it's good. It's good. But I'm going to look over my shoulder, as you asked, and take a peek.
Sneak a peek back there. Here come more Rangers fans up in the upper level, up in the balcony. Not welcome in the Snow the Goalie balcony, but they are here.
It's very early. There's still a lot of empties.
Tell people what you see.
A lot of empties.
Don't
but I'd
sugarcoat
say right now it's about 70-30 Flyers. In the building, I mean, in the seats, that number might go down, but I'd say it's about 70-30 Flyers right now.
That section's mostly Rangers. That section's mostly Flyers. I think we're close to 60-40. I wouldn't say 70-30.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's ultimately what it is, but I think right now it's probably about 15% full.
I'm gonna do a rare pregame edition here. Intern Andrew, what do you see?
I'll meet you in the middle. I'll say 65-35.
You know what? We didn't ask you to come on here and toe the line. We welcome you on to pregame, and this is what you give us.
What?
Split the difference.
Yeah,
Get out.
He's hedging.
Get out. He's in hot water today. We might get to that probably during the first intermission. For those who are aware, second intermission, we had this in the thumbnail, and it's in the description of the episode. Not everybody looks at the thumbnail. Not everybody looks at the episode description. Second intermission, Dan Hilferty, the governor of the Philadelphia Flyers, will be on the show. We have a lot of stuff to get to with him today. But I actually went back and I found a clip at your behest from 2018.
Yeah, you want to do this first before we talk about today's game?
I think it'd be kind of fun to do it. Yeah. So back in 2018, Ant and I are sitting over in Press Row. This is amidst the rumors about Dave Hextall. Would he be let go? It was still viewed that Ron Hextall had this long, sweeping plan. And then at some point, Anthony, during pregame or first intermission or something, I think it's during or first period, Anthony walks away, and he comes back and he says, "Hey, got a little bit of intel. Don't bring this up on the show." It was our first season doing the show together. So what did I do? I brought it up on the show. So while everybody was looking at Dave Hextall, the brain trust, and it was an extended brain trust.
It was
in the arena, and they were in fact not talking about hapless Dave Hextall. They were talking about the architect of the whole thing, Ron Hextall. Should we throw it to that really quick there?
Yeah, and I brought this up, like, I don't know, a couple episodes ago when we were down here saying that you really put me on the spot with this because I had told, this was when I first learned never tell Russ anything in confidence because he's always going to turn it back against you a little bit. And this is what exactly happened. I told you during that first period, hey, we can't talk about this yet, but Hextall's in more trouble than Hextall is at this time. And then you go and do this.
All right, so let's take a goosey gander at what was said.
Snow the Goalie flashback.
We're gonna mute the mics here, and I'll be able to put it up or whatever, and it'll be fun. All right, here we go. I want everybody to just appreciate this from 5 years ago when the Flyers were making. No, 5.
2018.
6 years ago. All right, here we go. Oh, look how young. Look how skinny. You had a beard?
I was in a play, and I was playing a mass murderer, and I had to wear
well, that's fitting.
a full
Here we
beard.
go.
Yeah.
Hopefully the people at home can hear us, and if you can't, Drop it in the comments so we know, and we'll stop it. Here we go.
I don't know. I mean, it could stand to reason that maybe that's not the only person that could have some heat within the organization. I mean, it's not totally implausible that maybe the higher-ups are here to shake things up a little bit, maybe on the bench, maybe not Hackstall himself, maybe encouraging that some assistant coaches, maybe a shuffle, maybe letting somebody go.
So I have a feeling that they really like Knobloch as future head coach material. Matter of fact, I've been told that through the organization. So I really wouldn't be surprised if they are looking to make a change with the staff. If you don't see Knobloch go down and actually become the head coach of the Phantoms, and Scott Gordon, who has NHL coaching experience, be brought up as an assistant to Hackstall. More so because he's the kind of a guy who has done really well both when he was an assistant coach running the penalty kill in the NHL and down with the Phantoms with his with the PK. I think the Phantoms have the second best PK in the AHL right now. And, of course, we're talking about a different level of hockey and different personnel, but the system seems to be a good one. And it was good when he was in the NHL as well. So I would not be surprised if Scott Gordon ends up on this Flyers bench at some point to run that PK. What does that mean for Ian LePerriere? I don't know. I don't know if that would mean that he would be let go, if he would be reassigned in some other capacity. I know he's a very, very well-liked individual in this organization. His family has set up roots here. They live here. He's had different titles here for many years. I wouldn't be surprised if he stays in some capacity, but I think that they recognize that they might need to make a change in who's running the penalty kill.
I don't mean to be a jerk. It's the holiday season, but, like, does anybody really care all that much how well liked the guy is? Like, if he's not getting the job done, then shouldn't fans be clamoring? Shouldn't other people who follow the team be clamoring for some kind of change? I mean, I don't want to see anybody lose their job, but, like,
I understand that.
I mean, there's a long enough stretch here to make a pretty solid determination on the guy's system.
You're not wrong in that regard, but all I was suggesting was that because they like him and because he's dedicated so much time over the past decade to this organization, that they might try and find another role for him.
Okay.
In other words, not just, can the guy and say, see you later, but rather, hey, we need to reassign you in some capacity. And maybe it goes back to, he was really good at being one of those development guys with the young kids. I know that there are a lot of higher-ups here to kind of convene and talk and see where the state of the team is and make some decisions on that front. I don't necessarily think it's to fire Dave Hackstall. I do think that they're taking a harder look, though, at Ron Hextall as a general manager. Not that I think he's going to get fired this weekend either, but I do think that they recognize that some kind of change has to happen. And maybe that's what you do is you make the change. Let's see if we make a small change on the coaching staff and see if that affects the locker room at all.
All right, so it took a little bit to get there, and as Ant just learned from listening to himself, he sometimes beats around the bush. But
well, you know why that is, right?
Why is that?
So in that instance,
yeah.
I'll take you through my mindset 6 years ago that I remember on this 6th anniversary. I had just asked you to not mention that. And what did you do? You mentioned it. And so here I am, not prepared to answer that question from you, and I have to figure out a way to say it without basically saying, this is what I just learned. And so in essence, I had to kind of talk around it and eventually got to the point that you were trying to get to, that yes, Ron Hextall was in danger of losing his job.
You know how I would have done it, Anthony? You do a little quick pivot. This is what you do.
So, and a lot of people are talking about Dave Hackstall being the guy that's most likely to get fired. Do you think that there's any chance here that Ron Hextall could be in danger? And this is the answer you give. Russ, honestly, just given the direction the team is heading right now and given all the people that are in the box, I would say that just about anything is on the table. Not reporting that, but just putting that. That's it. How long did that clip take us to play? It took a few minutes. But anyway, that is what, in part, is one, what propelled us to where we are now. Two,
yes,
also made a lot of people in this organization hate us for a while.
That was a very big day for Snow the goalie.
I think you got like a very angry few texts. I think that there was a chewing out that happened away from things.
Oh, yeah.
I think somebody threatened to not let us do Press Row show anymore. And now look at us. We're sitting up on the balcony with the best seats in the house. Dan Hilferty joins us in the second intermission.
Oh, great. So yeah, Flyers Rangers today. Obviously, a lot's being made about every time the Rangers come in this building, and rightfully so, because they bring their fans. But this team, the Rangers team's off to a little bit of a wonky start. I mean, they're ahead of the Flyers.
And 4 straight losses.
Lost 4 in a row. They've allowed 21 goals in their last 5 games, of which they're 1-4.
Early goals as well. That's become a bit of a.
It is.
Is bugaboo? Is that offensive now? I feel like somebody said it is. I don't know if it is. If it is, I don't. If it is, I don't mean it to be.
I used to work for a restaurant called Bugaboo Creek Steakhouse.
Can you look that up? Because I wanted to say it, but then I thought that maybe it's not okay. You can't say it anymore.
There's a word that starts with J. That's apparently a rape.
That's it. Okay.
Yes. Robert Griffin III got in trouble because he meant to say bugaboo, but he accidentally said
Yeah, okay.
All right.
No, but I used to work for a restaurant called Bugaboo.
Good knowledge of the triggering / non-PC words there, intern Andrew.
Can I tell you about Bugaboo
Slightly
Creek Steakhouse
concerning.
now that we brought that up?
Are they going to sponsor the show?
No, they don't exist anymore.
Oh, okay. Well.
Yeah, they're no longer around.
Or went out.
Yeah, but we used to have to wear like fake name tags.
Okay.
That not with your real name, with a nickname, and it was like a Moose Lodge themed place.
Ooh.
And it had a talking moose head and a talking Christmas tree, and it was the weirdest thing. My fake name tag, I was known as Preacher.
Preacher?
Preacher.
I don't
was
like
my
that.
fake name
I don't
tag.
like that at all. I don't like that.
Anybody ever been to Bugaboo Creek Steakhouse? Put it in the comments.
Oh, I remember Anthony. He was a lovely man with a lot of hair. Oh, how time has treated him so poorly.
Anyway, the Rangers are not playing up to stuff. They got 2 guys out of the lineup. Chris Kreider's missing, I think, his 3rd straight game today. Philip Cheadle, I believe this is his 6th straight game that he's missing. So, missing a couple of guys up front. Kreider kills the Flyers. I mean, I think he scored a hat trick every time they play him, right? It seems like it anyway. So there's an opportunity for the Flyers today against this Rangers team. But it could also go sour quick because if anybody who watched the game against Nashville, it is exciting that they won at the end, right? Tie it with 11 seconds left, get the overtime game winner. Okay, great. That's fantastic.
Depends on how you view wins with a rebuilding team, but yeah.
Well, I'm just saying.
It was exciting. Sure.
But
especially, you feel rewarded if you watched the entirety of the game and didn't tune out. 11.4 remaining.
37 giveaways by the Flyers. Going into the game, they were averaging 15, which was pretty high.
Yeah.
37 giveaways against the Nashville Predators. They blocked 33 shots, and to their credit, played well in the defensive zone, but they blocked 33 shots. What does that tell you about how much time they spent in their own end in that game? And to his credit, Torts said it after the game, to his credit, we were only good in our own end defensively. He said there was too many mistakes. They really couldn't get anything going, but they played well enough defensively. Kolosov made some nice saves.
He did.
Played a good game.
Looking better.
Right? And kept them in the game that allowed them the opportunity to pull it out in the end, which they've done a handful of times this year, right?
They continue to be at their most dangerous when they trail entering the 3rd period. That's when this Flyers team, for whatever stupid reason, is at their very best.
It's weird.
Because they fell behind. We keep saying this all year, right? This not going to be negative. It's Black Friday.
Is that some holy day?
I am just. So, this also isn't centered. Our banner is not centered. The intern did this, and it's not centered, and now it's bothering me. It doesn't matter. Here's the problem that I have. I want to go 2,000, 3,000, 10-foot, 1,000-foot view with you for a second.
Go ahead.
Last year, Flyers goaltending far exceeded expectations, kept a less than average team in a lot of games. They picked up a lot of points.
Yes.
Which ultimately, kept them out of that, sweet spot for the lottery. Fine. They were in playoff contention, all that. This team had moments where backup goaltending was bad. Fedotov really struggled. Kolosov obviously struggled at first. Ersson has gone out. Those two have kind of found themselves. This team does that same thing they did last year, which is they don't give up late in games. They forecheck hard. They're not a very, I still am very resolute in belief, they are not a very talented team. And yet they're picking up these points. And so the question is, are we seeing a repeat of last year where the team systemically is playing a similar game to what they did a season ago? They're going to continue to pick up these points, but eventually we're going to see the same thing that happened last year. Second half of the season, things start to kind of fall apart. You can't win this way in an 82-game season.
So you remember how last year we said that playing this way is not sustainable over 82 games?
Yes.
And it ultimately proved to be right?
Correct.
But last year's team had better goaltending.
Yeah.
And so it sustained probably longer than it could have.
Yes.
And so I think that this year playing this way won't sustain again, but I think it will start to fall apart sooner than it did a year ago, if that makes sense. I honestly think that. You know what the Flyers are? It cracks me up because it reminds me a lot of, you watched a lot of football yesterday, right? On Thanksgiving, everybody watches football. They're like a team that can't get their offense going in a football game unless it's the final 2 minutes of the half, and then all of a sudden they light the world on fire.
I almost compared it to Penn State, but we know they can't score late in games.
Andrew is taking a beating today.
The intern has had a rough beating. He's had a rough few weeks. The Forsberg thing.
But today he's really taking a beating.
All right, continue.
But it's like it's exactly what it's like, right? I mean, it's that's what it is to me. It's almost as if they're better when they're not thinking. You know what I'm saying? When when they're just instinctual and reacting, they seem to play their system and their style and their identity. They play to that more. But when it's earlier in a game and they got to think about where they need to be on the ice and who to make that first pass to, et cetera, that's when they just make mistake after mistake after mistake.
Correct.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's like turn off your brain and just go play hockey. Sometimes
that's but okay, so you know how they say can't make that comparison. You know how they say I got it now. You know how they say when somebody is let's say asleep.
Yeah.
Asleep is a safe thing. Somebody's asleep in a car and there's a car accident.
Yeah.
Right? Like a passenger. How they are sometimes less likely to get as seriously injured as somebody who sees it and braces for it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I think this is a thing. To me, that's kind of like what the instinctual hockey brain is. Like, if these guys actually think about the talent disparity of the team lining up against them, they struggle because they know it's a mighty task on the other side. Whereas when this team doesn't think about that and does play instinctually, they just go out and execute because they're a lot looser. They're not thinking about the fact that a Colorado or a Vegas is significantly better, and they go out and they end up getting a good result out of it. That to me is about as close. What are you looking at?
The Flyers sent over some photos of their players. They're having, their toy drive, right? And they sent some pictures over their guys bringing some toys in.
Uh-huh.
And
you could be showing them on the show. There's a way to do that, but okay.
Well, you can be. If you want, I'll send them to you.
Do we care? Like, are they good toys?
Well, I mean,
did they get a little kid a PS5?
No, Scott Lawton brought like a giant teddy bear.
What does this have to do with the show? We were actually doing hockey analysis here.
Yeah, well, because I look at things that have nothing to do with what the actual photo's about.
Uh-huh. What are you looking at there?
So the first thing I noticed is, Garnet Hathaway's wrist is all taped up.
Oh, snap.
So he's obviously playing with a little bit of an injury.
Is he taped up?
That's not Hathaway.
No, I was going to say that. Those are cufflinks. Oh, yes.
All right.
Hathaway, yes. Yeah. Taped left wrist.
Yeah. But I also noticed with the things that they're drinking, right? They all come in with like something from a Dunkin' Donuts or a Starbucks, like some kind of coffee. They're all into the coffee drinks.
Tippett's got a coffee there, yeah.
Yeah, but look at what is TK got?
Konechny's got like the that's the green drink at Starbucks. I think that's like that might be
a holiday thing.
I don't know, but that to me looks like when I get my wife a midday matcha. It looks like a matcha.
Yeah.
An iced matcha at that.
Yeah. So that's I don't know. I'm just noticing.
Why is that? He's hijacked the show.
I can send them. I'll send them to you.
Looking at drink preferences. What has happened to this show? I'm supposed to be the one that takes us off the rails.
It's Black Friday.
All right, let's get back on track.
Yeah,
Put your phone down. Unless you are getting a text about I'm not putting them up on the screen now. The moment's been lost.
You just asked me for these.
Yeah, and then you explain what they are. unless you're getting a text from somebody telling you that the Flyers have traded for David Jiricek, which we talked about on the show, by the way. We talked about it. We brought it up as a hypothetical. They may be interested.
So, yeah, we also talked on the show the other night because you weren't here and you
But then
missed
Elliot
it.
Friedman goes and does it on 32 Thoughts. Oh, God, Elliot Friedman. Milking a cow. Blah, 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 Elliot Friedman. Blah, 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 blah. Says a whole, it's a bunch of word salad. Oh, you gotta say 8 teams are interested in blah, 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 blah. Yeah, sure. Sure. 8 teams, yeah.
I like Elliot. I'm not.
I don't dislike him. It's just that, like, I don't know, somebody started, like, praying at the altar, and I'm like, I don't know what we're doing here.
Yeah, I get it. Well, it's all right. It's whatever. Look, I don't need the the notoriety. It's fine by me. It's no big deal.
He gets different kind of notoriety.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Joe Seville, look at him. What a guy. I like the shoes.
They are. Those are great shoes.
They're what? They're comfy. Hey, you know what? Live your best life. It's the day after Thanksgiving. There's a guy standing over there that looks like Nolan Patrick right behind him. Do you see that guy?
Yeah, I see him. He's good.
Is that Nolan Patrick?
It's not.
If it is, we have to bring him on the show. Was that Nolan Patrick?
No, it was not. It was
Are you
not.
sure?
100% was not.
It looked like Nolan Patrick. That looked like Andrew. Go chase that guy down and see if that was Nolan Patrick.
That's all we need.
And then if you do,
no, I would have.
You say,
if he was
they've always loved you,
Joe,
Nolan. They've always thought you the best.
So Joe Seville is the Flyers' PR guy, right? Head of public relations for hockey operations.
Yeah.
And so that group came in at the same time as Joe, and so I can understand why you thought that. And I hesitated because I wanted to see if they were walking with Joe when Joe walked away.
Oh, okay.
And Joe kept going, and they did not. So they were not with Joe.
Okay.
They're just kind of hanging out with people over in the unnamed.
Would Nolan Patrick be welcome over in the?
Probably not.
There you
Probably not.
There you go.
No. So where were we? What were we talking about?
I don't know. You derailed this show. I don't even know how we were going to talk about hockey. All right. So the Rangers have had issues of late. Rangers, like Alpha from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Rangers. Ay, ay, ay. Did your kids watch Mighty Morphin Power Rangers back in the day?
Not really. I mean,
on Fox Kids Saturday mornings.
Anthony did a little bit, very little. Were you a Power Rangers guy, Andrew?
Big time, yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Mighty
you guys are the
Morphin
same
Power
age.
Rangers or like the Ninja Rangers? Which
No,
Rangers?
Mighty Morphin for sure.
Okay.
I was a big Jason Lee Scott guy.
What was the? Wow, look at you knowing some names.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's redeeming himself for you, huh?
No, not really.
No, that's too bad.
No.
So the Rangers have been struggling of late. Like we mentioned, 4 straight losses. The Flyers have picked up points in 3 straight games, 2 wins. They continue to find their way into the extra session, which is if you're a tank or a lottery guy, hurts because you've now seen them, especially in that Nashville game. It's like, oh, you're so close, 0. We love a 0, but then you end up going into OT, right? You end up walking away with a win. And you go, oh, we went from 0 to 2. All right. The cool thing, if you are one of those tank people, if you look at Tankathon, I did this morning on my show, the disparity between where they're at, which would be the 10th worst record, and the Sharks, who have the worst record in the league, it's 4 points. That's it. So even though the Flyers have picked up 4 points in their last 3 games, it's only a 4-point gap, which speaks to the parity in this league,
I was gonna say
which
that,
we've been talking about the entire year.
Yeah, and that's the thing with the NHL this year. It's like, it's so even. Like, there's only a couple teams that have separated themselves out from everybody else, and the rest of the league is about the same.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily, in my mind, is not necessarily a good thing. Because it means that the quality. Let's go! I love it. Love it. All the Rangers fans.
Are they Rangers fans?
All
Oh,
Rangers
Rangers! No!
Yeah.
No!
It brings down, in my mind, it brings down the level of play across the league.
Yeah.
I don't think it makes it that, well, they're all the same, so it's going to be a good game every night. I think it hurts the quality. That when you have better teams that are significantly better, it's good for the game. And I say that in all sports, not just in hockey. Are you giving us an update?
Yeah, I mean, this isn't a Rangers takeover. There are a lot of Rangers, especially up here. I would say that, like, here come like 7 or 8 more. We just saw another 6. Like, at least when it comes to up here and the upper level, I'm seeing a lot of Rangers.
There's a lot of Rangers fans in the standing room, for sure.
I may need to walk back my 65-35 prediction.
That's right. Come back. Join me. 60-40.
Yeah.
That was my prediction.
Well, I said that. I said ultimately you're going to probably be right.
I thought you said 70-30.
No, at that time it was 70-30 is what I said. Go back and listen to it.
Captain Hedge.
There was no hedge. That's what I said at the time, and I believe that people who were with us at the beginning of the period
to go back and clip Anthony.
Will confirm that
and I said, but what
that.
do you see? And you were like,
I see 70-30. I said, but it's only about 15% full at the time. I said, but it very well could get more closer to your number by the time this place fills up.
Let's talk about some of the guys that the Flyers are going to need to show up today. Now, Zibanejad has also been in the midst of a not great stretch for him. Zibanejad has been sensational in his career against the Flyers. Like he is like what Jeff Conine used to be to the Phillies.
Yes.
Like it's almost that level, right?
Yeah.
How about that for a little bit of baseball knowledge?
That's a good reference.
But I just saw a vest. I thought it was Dave Scott, and then I realized Dave Scott wouldn't know that there was a hockey game today. No. Anyway, Zibanejad.
Yeah.
Always a guy that you have to pay attention to. No matter what his current form is, when it comes to playing against this Philadelphia Flyers team, he is an absolute Flyers killer. Who do the Flyers need to have step up in a big way in this game, or at least get back on track for them to have a chance here of holding off a division rival in a true Black Friday rivalry game?
You got to look at the offense just in general. I mean, obviously, Konechny and Mishkov have done their job. I'd say Couturier has been pretty solid in his role. But beyond that, the offense has been stagnant. And, I know Morgan Frost has a couple of goals. Both were pretty lucky goals in my mind since he's been back in the lineup. I know Scott Lawton got off the schneid the other night in Nashville, but even still, like he didn't have that great of a game against the Predators. Owen Tippett is still MIA. Tyson Forster still MIA.
Can somebody get these guys a roadmap to the goal?
Yeah, I mean,
can somebody remind them to shoot the puck
when
on
you say
net?
When you say who needs to step up, you need any one of these guys, any one or two of them. I mean, Farabee's been playing pretty well, but not scoring. I mean, he's been around the net and around opportunities and chances, but not finishing. So I think you name any number of these forwards and say if one or two of them were to have a game today, they could beat the Rangers.
Yeah.
But the ability to identify which one is closest to doing that is next to impossible because you just don't know.
Brady's about to knock out a Rangers fan.
Is he doing it with a pie? Just curious.
Val Camillo just rolled in her grave somewhere, wherever she's at. She heard that. She's not happy you said that. Has she sent you a cake lately, by the way?
No, I haven't talked to her since.
Did you get a wedding congratulations or anything?
I did not. Got no, nothing.
She leaves the team, and that's.
I've talked to her. I've talked to
are.
her maybe 3 times since she's left the Flyers.
Yeah. How's she doing?
And well, she seems like she's okay. Working for her husband's firm as a consultant. I
Good
guess.
for her.
You get that. That parachute.
Wow.
On the way out. That's what happens, right?
Wow.
But yeah, no, I haven't spoken to her in a long time.
Tom Allen with a really good question here for Ant. How was the turkey at Torts' house? Did you get the invite this year?
No, it must have got lost in the mail somewhere.
That's a shame. You hate to see it. Oh, look at this stud muffin walking over. Look at him. He's got the dance moves going. You know what the worst part is? The intern had this on us, not zoomed in, and didn't even have it set for the third host to jump on screen. There we go. Bundissimo is here. We're going to hope that his mic sounds good.
Hello,
Bundy,
everybody.
Hello, Bundy. How are you?
I'm doing good. Happy Thanksgiving to our whole crew. The Black Friday game, the annual. It's turning into more Ranger Flyers now. Every year,
I think it's the third time in the last 4 years that it's been these two teams on Black Friday. So, yeah, it's good to see you, Bundy. Hopefully you had a good Thanksgiving.
I did. It was quiet, and that was kind of actually perfect, to be honest with you. Didn't have to get soaked into.
I agree.
Too many.
Although I had to
go family stuff.
I had to go to 2 different places. One was with the Jersey Shore, and then of course come back home with my family. And it was just a lot of traveling around. And I just said, I just wish I was home, sitting home on the couch. It's just way too much.
Yeah,
it's way too much. You did it the right way. We've been all over the place today. Just literally.
He's derailed this show on no fewer than 3 different instances, Bundy. It's been hard to keep this thing on track.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, it's a good thing I watched the entire game the other night from Nashville because you probably had to watch it twice to appreciate actually how bad that game really was.
That's what we said, yeah.
Yeah, it was as bad a game as you would have found. I don't even think the Flyers, that might have been the worst worst game they played all year.
And yet
they got the win.
And yet they won the game. And that's what that's what we were saying. Like, they actually, the one thing I could say about the game is that they played well in their own end.
They did.
Defensively.
The turnovers are just
out of control. So you cannot do that today.
No.
Against this team.
Be 10-2.
Right?
Yeah.
I know that they're missing Kreider today and they're missing Cheadle today. They've lost 4 in a row. They've given up 21 goals in their last 5 games. Shesterkin hasn't been Shesterkin.
Yep.
You worry about that a little bit, don't you, when you have a team like that that's a little bit wounded but should be better coming into play.
I'll tell you what, I haven't given you my picks yet, have we?
No, we're about to get there.
All right, well, I'll start it off today then.
Yeah.
And then I'll go, because I don't. Or do you want me to go first?
I don't really care, Russ.
Well, I get a lot of heat if I'm the last one to go.
All right, why don't you go then?
It is a 60-40 Flyers crowd. Who's in net?
Shesterkin and Fedotov.
Well, we all know that I love the Iron Giant. But Mika Zibanejad is going to get back on task, and it's going to be ugly. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. 6-3 Rangers.
All right, I'll go second. You're going to actually think I'm nuts. I'm actually going to go 6-3 Flyers.
Wow.
I think the Rangers are in purgatory hell, hockey hell right now, and I don't think they're coming out of it today.
Yeah, it's a tough spot. I think it's actually a close game. I really do. And I'm going to go 4-3 Flyers.
Yep. That's the pick.
I think that the Flyers actually find a way to win this game. I don't know why. I just think that the Rangers are really struggling.
Yep.
It wouldn't surprise me if this is yet another overtime or / shootout type game.
I agree with you on the pick. I actually think it's a blowout one way or another.
Okay, fair enough.
Intern, your thoughts?
Meaning 3 goals.
I'll go 4-3 Rangers.
4-3 Rangers.
Okay.
We are a split decision on this show.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's all over today, but I think the seniors here are going to take this one today. The old boys on this show here with 100 years of existence, we're walking with this one today.
There was a request here before we go. Don't forget, second intermission, Dan Hilferty will be on the show. First intermission, we'll have the stat of the night from intern Andrew and a whole bunch of other fun. But somebody wanted you to give people insight. What did Hitch have to say about Thanksgiving?
Are we out of pie? Where's the leftovers in the pie?
We'll be back during first intermission. If you haven't done so already, like the video, share the video, subscribe.
I like apple, walnut, pecan, and pumpkin. All at the same time.
Did you know he's on? Do you know he's on a seafood diet?
Yeah, sure. Whatever he sees, he eats it.
All right, time for us to go. We'll be back. First intermission. Talk to you soon. Ooh, welcome into the Press Row Show, the #1 rated pregame, intermission, and postgame show this side of the Mississippi, south the Arctic Circle, north of the equator. Your team, your town, your Philadelphia Flyers.
Did you see that jersey?
2-0 lead. Are you going to derail the show again?
Yes,
like you
I
did
am.
pregame?
Because we always
2-0 lead over the Rangers, and now Ant takes the show somewhere we don't.
No, we just
now you know how we feel.
Yes, exactly.
Let me tell you.
We just had a fan walk by wearing a Yanni Nienema jersey. Wow.
Yanni Nienema.
Yes, that's why I had to point it out.
What's the first thing I think of when I think of Yanni Nienema?
I don't know. What is it?
Yanni Nienema went to a Metallica concert in the parking lot of the Corsday Center with this building here.
Yeah.
On the day of a game for an outdoor concert.
What?
Let's just say Yanni didn't play that night. He's like, yeah, I love Metallica. I'm like, yeah, you love Metallica. They're putting a free show on in the parking lot today at the Wells Fargo Center.
He
went.
You tempted him into that.
No, he kept talking about it, and then all of a sudden we found out the guy actually went to the concert. You could check. You could back check this. I'm saying.
I remember the concert.
It was like 96 or 97.
I remember the concert. Yeah.
And it was an outdoor concert Metallica put on, and he went to it on the day of a game. And that was it. He did not play that night.
That's fantastic. Who was the coach then?
Wayne Cashman.
That's fantastic. Anyway, I'm sorry. You rarely see a Yanni Nienema jersey, right?
That's fair.
So I had to point it out. Heck of a period for the Flyers, eh?
Oh, it has been.
Dominant.
It certainly has been.
Dominant.
There was a comment over here from Raymond Supper who said it could have been 5-0.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I mean, there were a couple of missed, like wide open net shots missed.
But Shesterkin also, after the second goal, stood on his head. He was sensational after the Konechny goal. From that point forward, Flyers 15-3 or 4, I think, ended up being 15-4. They outshot the Rangers. Rangers didn't get our first shot on goal until 11-11 in the period.
Yep.
It was 10-0 shots Flyers at that point. Really, really good period for the Flyers. Maybe their best of the season.
Best period of the season. Yeah, I agree with you, Anthony. And I don't think there's a lot to argue about. 15-4. Rangers got a last-minute shot. They got the Bronx cheer here, too, when they got their first shot on goal that late in the hockey game. It was, as you said, 11-11, right?
It was at 11. It was at 11-11 in. Yeah.
And it wasn't like they didn't have a chance to get a shot. That's how good the Flyers were in that period. I don't know what the Flyers ate yesterday other than turkey, but I'd like to know because they sure look fired up this afternoon.
Bobby Brink looked like he didn't get any dessert.
Bobby Brink looked like
he came out like a man possessed.
Or he was on a sugar high still from the dessert.
Yeah, right.
One of the two.
Well, absolutely.
But you know what? Just a great period to watch. A lot of fun by the Flyers. They were making plays. The Rangers, no forecheck. They had no cross seam passes. They had no shooting lanes
available. The middle
available.
was wide open for the Flyers.
Yep, all period.
The entire period.
You have to when you watch the Rangers, and I know I talked to you near the end of the period.
Yeah.
Like when a team is playing really bad, there's usually a sequence where they play so ultimately bad that ends their streak of being that bad.
Right.
And I'm wondering if that first period might have been it for the Rangers for this slump. I don't know. I get these gut feelings. Watch how the Rangers play for the next 5 games after this first period.
Yeah.
Game's not over yet. But
No,
the Flyers, the way they played, need to just continue doing it. But the Rangers look like a team that period, like they were disjointed. Like I haven't seen many teams that are supposed to be that good that are that disjointed.
There's a good stat here from Ed.
To back up your story, Bundy says, concert was November 11th, 97. You guys shut out the Sens 1-0, and Yanni Nienema was, in fact, a scratch that night.
Yes, he was. Yep. 11-11. That seems to be the theme of the period.
Yeah, 11-11 on the first shot, 11-11 on the date. How about that? That's a story. I never knew that story.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I remember he was so excited about seeing that, too.
You know what?
Amazing. I wanted to see it, too, but I just felt like maybe that night there was a more important event taking
You got a job to do,
place.
maybe.
They got a job, yeah.
I will say, pregame, I picked the Rangers to win, and then I forgot. My family came to this game.
Yes.
My kids have never been to a Philly sports game that has ended in a loss, and that's not a jinx. I've tried to jinx it before.
They have.
No, they haven't.
Yeah, they were at the game last year, the final game of the season. Your little boy was crying because the Flyers.
You're right.
Yes. So if I'm remembering.
Pia's undefeated. She's never been at a loss.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's her first game.
And Dino.
And Dino, his first game as well.
Yeah.
I know
They're
more
over
about
there.
Russ's kids coming into these games than Russ does.
It's
I
hard,
forgot.
it's
Yeah,
hard
that's
for
right.
him to keep track.
Arlo
There's
cried.
4 of them.
There's 4 of
I
them.
know what it's like.
Yeah, that's right.
There's small ones.
I'm the short one with 3.
That's right.
Yeah. That's
Hey,
right.
there's still hope.
No.
You and Maria.
No.
Yeah.
Not after 50. Ain't happening.
You never know. Medical.
Not happening. Should we go?
Bundy, do you think we can pressure Maria into having a...
No.
No.
No?
No.
All right. I guess now is the time we can go to Intern Andrew's Stat of the Night.
Sure.
Brought to you by Intern Andrew.
Hey, before you give us the stat, Andrew, I'm just curious, since this is the first time you and Bundy have been on the air together today.
Oh, boy.
How you guys doing? Doing all right?
Great. Love Bundy.
Yeah, I love
okay.
Andrew. Yeah, I love
Just making sure everybody's okay. All right. Good.
yeah, we're good.
Love Bundy.
We cleared the air. We had a little air that needed clearing. It got cleared.
It was funny as hell.
This is the treatment Ant gets for trying to stir up crap on the show. We box his face out for now. Go ahead, Intern Andrew. Give the people, look into the camera and give people the stat of the night.
So Wednesday night, by the way, was my birthday. Flyers.
Wait.
Happy birthday.
We did a happy birthday to Andrew on Monday when you were sick.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, I didn't get that.
Yeah.
That's all right. Flyers end up winning the game in overtime against Nashville. Morgan Frost tied that game with 12 seconds left, which, as of right now, stands as the second latest game-tying goal in the NHL this season. The number one being Alex Wenberg scored a game-tying goal with 9 seconds left.
Okay.
Subsequently, Sean Couturier scored the overtime winner. That was his 7th career overtime winner as a Flyer, which puts him in sole possession of 3rd place among all-time Flyers players. Do you want to take a stab at who 1 and 2 are?
Overtime game winners?
Yes.
There goes Simone Gagne.
He passed Gagne with that goal.
Okay.
Gostisbehere and Gagne are tied for 4th now.
So the overtime's been around
Since the late 80s, I want to say?
early 90s.
Early
late
90s? Somewhere in that range. John LeClaire.
Nope.
Just trying to think of somebody who scored a lot of
Johnny
goals.
only saves those overtime goals for Stanley Cup finals.
Yeah, and when he was on Montreal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's a good question.
It's not. I don't think it's Mark Recchi.
No.
No. I don't want to say Lindros because I think that's too easy.
Nope.
Giroux?
Drew's number 1.
Oh, you know what? Yeah.
Yeah, he's been around. He was around long enough.
Did it 11 times.
Might it be Voracek or Simmons?
It is Jake Voracek.
Oh,
Okay.
how about that?
Yeah,
We get Pia. We get Pia on the show. Hi, Pia.
Hi, Pia.
Are you going to talk on the show now? Are you going to talk into the microphone? No, you just did. You didn't know
Who do
that,
you think's
right?
going to win? Are the Flyers going to win or the Rangers going to win?
Flyers.
Flyers are going
Do
to
you
win,
have a score
right?
prediction? It's 2-0. What's it going to end up being?
I don't know.
All right, good.
That's good. That's good.
What's the
Sounds a lot like her father.
Sounds like Russ. Before he picks a game, then he just draws a number out of a hat and goes with it.
She's adorable.
She is cute.
Pia is so adorable.
Cute.
They stopped by the house. They were going to dinner somewhere, and they had dropped something off, and Maria had never met Pia. And Maria comes into the house and goes, "Oh, my God, Pia is the most stinking cute kid I've ever met in my life."
She sure is.
Yeah. She's
Good,
just
Russ.
very happy and smiling.
I see that, and I see just beautiful, beautiful kids and a family, and
Yeah.
I think to myself, man, I would never want to be you right now,
Why?
ever again.
Why?
I could never go back to that age.
Oh, having that many kids, like at that age?
No, I have that many
But
kids.
no, I mean,
at
like
that,
at that age.
age
Oh,
again.
yeah.
No.
Everybody says, like,
Oh my God, you're gonna miss those days.
and I'm like, I'm exhausted all the time.
Yeah.
You saw the video from 6 years ago or whatever it was, pregame, of you and I over in Press Row.
Yes.
At that point, I had 2.
And you looked young and vibrant.
I was like 30 pounds lighter.
And you looked vibrant and excited and
I think as they get older, maybe I'll get my vibrancy back.
maybe.
Maybe I'll have like
There is a rebound, right?
Bundy looks good.
Right, Bundy? There is a rebound period once they get to like their self-sustaining.
Once they start driving a car,
Yeah.
yeah, it gets a little easier because you don't have to drive them anymore. They can, hop in and do their stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. When the oldest is able to look after the rest of them,
Yeah.
as like a babysitter, that helps.
Then you start to
There's
feel
hope.
Yeah, there is a little bit of hope.
There's hope you can believe in.
Yeah.
That was a good stat, by the way.
It was. It was good work, Andrew.
We do have to remind people that it is an interesting day here at the Press Row Show. Second intermission, Flyers Governor Dan Hilferty will join the show. We have a lot to talk to him about. One of the things that we're going to talk to him about
I
has
love that of all his titles, that's the one that you choose to use.
the governor
Well, he is a governor.
Nobody cares.
But he's the CEO
of
Comcast Spectacle.
no one cares. It's a hockey show. People care about the hockey-facing title.
Yeah, but when you're the CEO of the group that owns the team, it's like.
But he would be
like
the first one to point out to you.
It's like John
He's-
Middleton for the
No,
Phillies.
no, it's not though. Because as he would point out, he is not the owner of the team.
He's not.
And when you say CEO of Spectacor, people go back to the Snyder moments and they go, oh, he owns the team, which he doesn't.
He doesn't.
And he also is very active in pointing out he doesn't own the team. He's governor. I think Flyers governor is fitting here.
Okay, you're the only one who uses it, but that's all right.
Like, when we're here, I would say you are a co-host of Snow the Goalie, the Only Flyers podcast. I wouldn't say that you're Anthony SanFilippo, Flyers writer for onpattison.com.
Dan's very candid. He always gives good answers and stuff, and he's very, very in tune to what they want to do and their plans. So I'm sure we'll try to dig something out of him for that.
Oh, we have some stuff to ask him.
Good stuff.
We won't put him in hot water. It'll be warm, but not hot. Maybe room temperature. We'll find out.
I'll let you run that.
I certainly think it helps that the Flyers crowd. So we had this conversation pregame about what's the breakdown. I'd love to know from people who are watching on TV what it sounds like in the arena. And just based on what we can see, I think it has kind of settled into a 60 or probably like a 70-30. I think we're a little bit closer to that.
I think it's 70-30 today.
I thought when we first started, it was 60-40. Intern Andrew hedged with a 65-35. Ant said 70-30. So, of course, his head is huge now.
No, because
it was big anyway.
I felt like it might get back closer to what you predicted. If we go back and rewind the tape, I'm being honest.
I would love to know. Like, we can't get this number from the team, but turnstile count. I would be interested in what the final number is, because what's a little bit skewed is up here in Assembly Row or Revolutionary Row, or whatever.
Yeah.
This is a lot of Rangers fans up here. The upper level
Very
has a
Flyers.
no, the second level. The second tier has a lot of Rangers here as well. It's not. I wouldn't say even 50-50, but there's a lot of Rangers here. The lower level is where I think it skews very heavily Flyers.
It does.
Okay. So it's just interesting. Again, you go back to a few years, or to March of 2023, this would have been a 70-30 Rangers crowd. That was a disgusting thing. The last game at the, it was last season?
Last Black Friday.
Yeah. That was a little bit better.
A little bit better.
Yeah.
Than March 2nd, 2023. Yes.
This is certainly kind of back to being more of what you would expect. Bundy, obviously it's not a total playoff atmosphere because the Rangers went down early, as they have been doing of late. Does it still give you some kind of feeling of a playoff atmosphere when it's not a dominant home crowd? Even if you say it's 70-30, it's still a very loud 30% from the Rangers fans.
Yeah, you're going to get, I mean, this is as close to Black Friday game to playoff type of style game that you're going to find in the regular season. You always long for finding that one game that's kind of brings you into what April, May, and June are all about. So I think it's pretty cool. And it's a rivalry, right? Like, the Flyers are trying to get where the Rangers are, apparently. But I'm not really that impressed with the Rangers at this very moment.
Nope.
That being said, the Flyers look like who the Rangers should be, and it's vice versa, and it's flip. But I love the way the Flyers are playing, and if I were their coach, I'd tell them, do exactly what you just did. Have confidence in your puck abilities. Put pucks to the front of the net and get on the forecheck, and they've done that. The Rangers are having trouble breaking it out. They're having more trouble repossessing the puck in the offensive zone, and the Flyers' defense and forwards together have done a great job together getting that puck and moving it up the ice with efficiency. It's been really fun to watch.
One of the things that I've been impressed by, and Bunny, we've talked about this a lot over the years, but in the case of an Ivan Fedotov that only saw 4 shots actually get recorded on goal, it can become something where as a goalie you kind of allow yourself to have a mental lapse because you're not getting consistent work. Were you impressed by Fedotov and his ability to remain locked in that period?
I was, yeah. He stayed focused. It didn't look like whether he saw 4 shots or 14 shots, it looked like it wasn't going to change. So, but I expect the Rangers, there'll be a little pushback here in this period. I mean, I don't think they can get any worse than they just were.
Yeah, I'll tell you what impressed me, even though it's only 4 shots, right, Russ? The first one, like I said, came at the 11-11 mark. It wasn't even that big of a shot. It was Trocheck coming down the wing, kind of a wrister right at him, right, and got the Bronx cheer. The other 3 shots were all high danger chances, and Fedotov stopped each one of them. I mean, guys right in front of the net, and he made all 3 saves. So, yeah, like Bundy said, credit to him for staying locked in, because that could have gone sideways quick with him, kind of just being lonely in the back, not getting any shots.
I would almost imagine that in the start of the second period, you're going to get one of those Lavi, let's get some jam in here kind of moments, and maybe they start peppering Fedotov from all angles. You just don't.
Well, this is what Bundy was talking about.
You don't worry about the high quality chances. It's just get pucks on net.
Second period could turn for the Rangers a little bit.
It could. The Flyers have to make sure they have a good start again. The Rangers they're in that locker room right now, feeling sorry for themselves. I've been there before. Nobody cares. There's not one person in the world that cares the Rangers are down. So they're going to have to find their way out of it. I just wonder only because I've seen it before, is when a team is that bad, how long can it stay that bad? Because there has to be a point when you start turning the corner back around to a semblance of what you're supposed to be. And I'm just hoping that doesn't happen in this second period. I hope the Flyers keep their foot down on the pedal.
Especially considering the Flyers are not normally a good second period team.
At all.
They're not.
Right? And so, like, that's part of it. You know, so you hope it doesn't flip on them. And then this goes from a 2-0 lead to all of a sudden it's tied or you're trailing by a goal, you know, just because that switch was flipped and you weren't ready for it.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing to keep an eye out for. But for 20 minutes, best 20 minutes of hockey the Flyers have played this season.
That was the best 20 minutes. There's no disagreeing with that at all. They were really a juggernaut. They were skating, they were passing, they were getting the puck to the net, fierce defensively, good goaltending when needed. And I think that's exactly what the Flyers need to do again. You know, this is the kind of game you can really build off if you're the Flyers, coming off a horrible game against Nashville that they won. Now is an opportunity again here for them to put a kind of a nail in things and say, hey, we're really on the go right now, and start making up some ground in the East.
You don't know why I was handing you my glasses?
It's because I was looking at the tiny little words here, and they're kind of like darked out because I wanted to do this, okay? In full transparency, I wanted to do this to pull this up because I saw a stat dropped in the comments, and I was like, wow, that's pretty concerning. The Rangers lead this game in hits, 12-0, which is interesting to me.
Is that a real number?
It is. Look at the on the
I
screen.
saw somebody put that. I wasn't sure if
that's why that's what I was trying to figure out there before I threw it up on the screen. But to lead 12-0 in hits, Bundy, is that a frustration thing? Does it just speak to?
Well, you know what? If that's the case, and the Flyers play like that, then don't hit another body again the whole period. Don't touch anybody.
That's right. Don't touch a soul.
I mean, I didn't think it was like that. I mean, geez, that's unbelievable.
That seems kind of crazy.
I think somebody had too much turkey in the counting booth there tonight.
Yeah, it might be missing some stuff there over there. It's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. All right, well, we've got, 20 seconds here? You want to wrap this up, Russ? I know your family's waiting for you.
No, I'm looking to see where our friend Mike. I just saw people walking through the organ area.
He is. He's right there.
There he is. I'm saying I saw a lot of people walking behind the organ.
He's allowed to go.
No, not
the
him. I'm saying there were a bunch of people
there.
walking behind the organ.
Yeah.
All right, anyway, we'll be back second intermission with Dan Hilferty, CEO of Comcast Spectacor, also known as governor of your team, your town, your Philadelphia Flyers. Come back.
We'll ask him what he thinks when he comes on.
About like what we should introduce him as?
Yeah.
He's going to probably say that he's the most proud of being the Flyers governor.
Yeah, we'll see. And you might be right. And if that's the case, we'll just call him the Gov.
I may be right. You may be right. I may be crazy.
Yeah, then we'll just call him the Gov the rest of the time.
But I just may be the lunatic you're looking for.
Billy Joel, I got it. Thanks.
All right, we'll be back. Second intermission here on the Press Row Show. Where's the video? Andrew! Welcome back into the Press Row Show, the #1 rated pregame, intermission, and postgame show this side of the Mississippi, south of the Arctic Circle, north of the equator. Flyers holding on very tightly to a 2-1 lead. We said it was bound to happen that the Rangers were going to come out with a little bit more piss and vinegar, and they did in that second period.
I mean, it wasn't dominant by any stretch of the imagination, but they were certainly better.
Yes.
And obviously they get a goal by Trocheck there to cut it in half. Shesterkin's been really good.
Yeah.
I mean, just really
been the
good.
best player on the ice, believe it or not.
Yeah, he really has. I mean, I mentioned where how well he played at the end of the first period. He was just as good, if not better, in the second. And I think that's right now what's keeping the Rangers in the game. Because I don't think the Flyers, Bundy, had a bad bad second period. It was the Rangers were a little bit better.
Yep.
But the Flyers still had some chances. They just couldn't finish.
Flyers played. They didn't play a bad period, the Flyers, but the Rangers, as me and Anthony said, the Rangers couldn't be worse than they were in the first period. I mean, they literally could not be worse than they were in the first period. I mean, it's maybe the worst I've seen one team and as flat as they were in one single period against the Flyers all year. So, to their credit, the Flyers, I thought, had a pretty strong period. Easily could have had another goal or two, but Shesterkin, since he gave up the second goal, and Anthony said earlier, it may be hard to beat him again.
Yeah.
So the Flyers are going to have to get down on this game defensively in the third.
Well, we said in that first period as well, like one of the things that stood out is that it very well could have been a 5-0 game. Him being able to keep the Rangers in that first period, that really probably was your best chance. What are you pointing at, Ant?
No, somebody was going to ask Bundy a question, and I figured I might as well. Andrew put it up a minute ago, and he said Philly Vegas 37 is asking Bundy what's his early thoughts on Helge Grans.
Yeah, I've said I've liked them. I think, I know they have a situation with the cap and with the extra bodies and all that stuff, but I like him. I think this kid is an NHL player, and I think he just needs to continue playing, and I hope it's here, because I think he's better than some of the options we've seen.
Yeah, and it might be one of those situations, ultimately, Bundy, depending on injuries and health of certain players, where he has to go back down for a short period of time just because to keep the numbers where they are, they're where they need to be, and then bring him back at a later date. It might be one of those.
Yeah, if you make room for him. We are waiting for the CEO of Comcast Spectacor,
the Gov,
as Russ calls him, the Gov. We are waiting to see. He's got to make his way through a maze of bodies to get down. Here he comes.
There he is. There's the man.
Yeah.
So we ended up making it happen, and he's going to join us here, the one and only Dan Hilferty.
Yeah.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Hopping
in.
I'm
gonna ask the first question. All right.
Yeah.
Right,
well, welcome in, Dan. And we want to settle something before we talk about the good stuff.
What's that?
Do you want to be known as the CEO or the governor?
What gives you more pride? Because we've been arguing about
Russ
it up
calls
here.
you the Gov.
I call you the Flyers
CEO.
governor. Ant thinks it's supposed to be CEO of Comcast Spectacor. What do you think?
Health. How about health?
Health. All right.
I knew you were going to say that, so we walked right into it.
But any of the above work. I think the main thing is that I take such great pride in this role, and I have a real respect for the past leadership of the Flyers, all the people that are part of the organization. So I don't get caught up on titles. I'm just thrilled to be part of an exciting time and an exciting team of people.
We're just happy to know we can go with either one of them now.
Go with either one.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Dan, you come in here today, and the last couple of times that the Rangers have come into this building, they've had their fans have had a great presence,
yes.
Right? Go back to March of last year, it was predominant Rangers fans. Last year on Black Friday, it was better, but it was still pretty split. Starting to see a few more Flyers fans. That's got to make you feel a little bit better. It's probably about 70-30 today.
I think it might be a little better than that.
Might be better.
Yeah,
even better?
It's more
Okay.
in the 80 to 20 range.
Okay.
But I always exaggerate a little on the good side. I'd say this, and I don't know if you're feeling it, but as the season has gone on, and we've had our struggles.
Yeah.
There's more people coming, whether it's on the club seat level or the suite level. A lot of the business leadership starting to come back. A lot of people up here enjoying this great top floor.
Yeah.
So it's happening. But yes, I was thrilled to walk in today and see many more of us than there were of them.
I was going to say, we all kind of evaluate, I think, attendance in a different way, right? Like, from our perspective, we obviously notice each and every person who comes to this elevator, right? And when things started kind of falling apart at the end of last year, we started seeing fewer and fewer of those people coming through. Obviously, a new season, Matvei Michkov being here, all of a sudden, the people started flooding back in. It doesn't feel like at any point this season we've kind of gone in reverse. It does feel like things are starting to pick up, but you mentioned the club and the suite level. Is that an indicator from your position that, all right, there's a wider belief now beyond just the fine folks who come and get the seats all the way up here?
Yeah, Russ, it's an interesting point. And I observed that too. I would say this, that we've been very consistent, whether it's me or Danny or Jonesy or Torts, whoever it is, talking about we need to be patient. We're going to do this, as we call it, the right way. And people have seen enough of the moves that we've made, Michkov being a key one, where they think, okay, we can trust a little bit. And I think that's why they're willing to come back. I can tell you a quick story. We were about to be 1-5, whatever that home game was here, and I had college friends who said, you got to stop down and see me. So I go down, I'm walking through, and I'm thinking, I know somebody's going to say something not so positive. 5 different people stopped me, 2 hugs, just saying thank you. We know where we're headed, and for me that was such a surprise. But it also indicated what you said. There's a slow build of enthusiasm around the Flyers.
What are some of the things that you guys have had to do to really kind of rebuild that trust outside of obviously what's going on with the team on the ice? But I mean, I know that there have been times in the past where you guys have had to give away some tickets and get people in the building and say, listen, come experience this and see what. Has there been anything else kind of beyond that that's kind of been your guys' go-to to get more people to say, hey, you know what, it's cool to go to a Flyers game again?
You know what? It's a really good question, and I can't capture it.
Yeah.
Lightning in a bottle. I don't know what the real answer is, but I can say this to you. We've been sincere, and you all have been part of this, about getting out there and talking about the Flyers. Nobody better than Jonesy and Danny to be our ambassadors in the community, and it's starting to pay off. I don't know that there's any true
tangible thing that you can really find, right?
Success,
Dan,
right?
Dan, is there 2 seasons in hockey now? I'm wondering, like before. I guess when I played, we had Lindros, and we'd see a full building on October 1st. Is there 2 seasons where I say the NFL kind of wraps up and people get so engulfed in football that it seems like January 2nd becomes hockey's time through the rest of the season?
Well, Chris, it's funny. My first year last year, I really saw that, and I was frustrated by those early attendance figures. But I think you're absolutely right. Look, we have a great NFL franchise in the Philadelphia Eagles.
Sure.
People love the Eagles. It's funny. You just made me think of something. There was an article in the Inquirer not too long ago about a sports bar in Portland, Oregon. Was started by a Philly guy. I lived in Portland for a couple years, and they have all these Eagles jerseys, and I'm thinking, where's the Flyer thing? All of a sudden, in the background, there was a big poster of Gritty. I mean, it could be Michkov, but they got Gritty hanging on the wall, and I thought, we're out there. And I would say, yeah, NFL really captures people's imagination, like that sports bar in Portland. But now, as we get into the winter months, it's our time.
Yeah.
And basketball, but it's our time.
It's interesting. We started off by asking you about the attendance for today with the Rangers fans coming in. Are we just kind of at a point, I think, where no matter what the sport is, Dan, I mean, you're a Philadelphia guy through and through, where you're just always going to have a number of other visiting teams, especially the popular ones or the ones that are close by. I think of an Eagles game, as great as the Eagles are, when they play the Dallas Cowboys, there's 20% Cowboys fans in that building,
mm-hmm.
right? So you can't really be that upset.
No, Anthony,
right?
You can't be that upset, but what I've experienced traveling with the team, you see that orange and black in the stands everywhere we go.
Right.
I would say this about the Rangers. The whole New York-Philadelphia thing is really a cool rivalry.
Yeah.
Great. And like you go to Giants Stadium for a Jets-Eagles or Giants-Eagles or even the NBA, there's always a strong contingent of Philly people. I think it's important to point out, because I had to learn this. People spend their hard-earned dollars, and it's not inexpensive to come to a hockey game or any professional sport. So on a holiday, if they're traveling, why wouldn't you sell your tickets? And by selling your tickets, it helps pay for next year's.
Right.
And so I get the reasoning, I get the thinking. So I give everybody a pass.
Yeah.
Because it's about no, I want to afford to do this. This is important to me. It's important to my son, my daughter, and we're gonna make it work. And I respect it. I just hope we get so good. When we get so good, they're going to resist selling their tickets.
That actually does lead me into, we have a spirited debate every time this comes up on this show. I want you to put your fan hat on for a second, firmly. We know what the realities are. We know what the realities of like the last decade of Flyers hockey have looked like. We know what the expectations were going into this year. You look at what Matvei Michkov has been able to do. He's living up to the hype. You guys were trying to be careful with how he's marketed and everything, but seems to be living up to the hype. You see what having an elite prospect, an elite young guy looks like and how the fans kind of gravitate. As you wear the fan hat, this team is able to gut out a lot of good points, wins. But when you look at the long-term view of needing to build a cup contender, which probably does involve picking at least one more time towards the top of the draft, is there a part of you that looks at it and says, it's great to get these wins, but we still need that elite talent?
Well, look, Russ, I think that's a really, really good point. Here, and this is the fan, and I always, that's where I start and that's where I end. That I want to see the team win every single day, and I feel this way. Look, Danny and Keith have done a great job around. We've got 3 first-round picks this coming draft. We've got other high-level picks. Do they package them to Moose? Who knows what they're going to do? But here's what I think. I think that these guys come into that room every single day with the idea that as a team, they're going to maximize their potential. As individuals, they're going to maximize their potential. And by the way, these careers aren't that long. Yeah. I mean, if a guy's 10 years, that's a heck of a career, right, Chris?
Right, it sure is.
So I say this. So we owe it to them. We owe it to them to come with that fan perspective and make sure that every single game, we want their moment to be as soon as that moment can be. Not thinking about, if we get this pick and we sign this free agent, we're going to be in the money. We're going to be a competitor or a contender for the cup. I just believe that will come. I believe it. No matter how you get there, it's going to come. But every single day, we owe it to the fans, we owe it to these players, and we owe it to ourselves to keep that fan hat on and just hope they do catch lightning in a bottle. And I believe it every day.
Here's my last fan question for you. What do you think of the game today? Just as a spectator, Black Friday game, it's a feature symbolic game for this franchise. What are you thinking?
Chris, well, first of all, I think the past several games, although we had a rough patch on Wednesday night, still came away with the win.
Yeah.
They're so competitive. They never give up. And that's kind of what I was answering to your question, Russ, that we owe that to them. I'd say this game is real high-level NHL hockey, even a little chippiness. And by the way, speaking of Michkov, that between-the-leg pass,
to Forster.
Oh my gosh, that was unbelievable.
Beautiful.
It was unbelievable. So, it's a great hockey game. Look at the building. It's electric. Ranger fans try to cheer. We smother them out. Let's keep it up. And it's all good.
Great stuff.
Hilf.
Hilf.
We're going to keep it Hilf. We've kept it Hilf since day one.
Hilf. Gov.
Russ is going to go with Gov, I think. But
The governor. Cheerio, governor.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
for coming on Black Friday.
Thanks, fellas.
happy
for stopping
Thanksgiving.
on.
Happy holidays, Dan.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Chris.
buddy.
Thanks,
Thank
you guys.
you.
Appreciate
Take
it.
care.
Dan Hilferty.
Dan Hilferty,
CEO and the governor of the Philadelphia
CEO,
Flyers.
the governor, the man, the myth, the legend.
Hilf.
Love it.
You know what? That's the kind of guy like that resonates with the fans, right? You listen to some of our comments. I mean, he speaks English to the fans. There's no BS. There's no garbage. Like, they're working towards putting the best product they can on the ice, so we're proud of it every single night.
Yeah.
And the realism is that we're not there yet. We're trying, and you have to trust the people that are in place to do their job.
Listen, they're the good. So if you're out there, and you are of the same mindset that I am, elite talent, draft. He didn't say that we need to win each and every game. It's every guy who's in the locker room deserves to have their moment. It just so happens that a front office has the ability to offload some talent which could, in fact, give you less of a chance of winning. Now, we have to go to intern Andrew.
We got a quick
because
trivia.
it's his trivia time. We were going to try to make it work. I don't know what's happening now.
We got like 2.5 minutes.
We have 2 minutes.
What is
Why
going
did you
on?
unplug?
What's going on
Don't
over here?
unplug.
What are you
For
doing?
God's sake, man.
What's going on over
gotta
here?
do your trivia.
The intern's a mess.
Boy, he's really
He's
struggled
gonna be
the
like,
last 48 hours.
Well, guys, I needed to plug in my microphone this way because it gave me an extra 3 inches of room.
Who couldn't use an extra 3 inches?
He's had a struggle today. It's been a rough couple 48 for him. It really has. How you doing, Andrew?
That extra 3-inch antidote came from Maria, I believe, after the where were you guys? Turks and Caicos.
Turks and Caicos.
Yeah, that's right. All right, intern Andrew, will bring him on the show. Intern, you have 2 minutes for trivia time.
April 2010, Game 82, Flyers versus Rangers. Playoff spot on the line. Loser goes home. Who are the 6 players that shot in the shootout? 3 Flyers, 3 Rangers.
Giroux, Briere. For the Flyers, I know for sure.
Is it Mike Richards?
Yes.
Richards was the third.
So
one.
that was all 3.
The last guy that shot for the Rangers was the Finn, the bald Finn that played in Florida. Remember?
Yeah.
Olli
Jokinen.
Jokinen.
Olli
So
Jokinen.
remember that?
Yeah.
The bald Finn. I couldn't think of any other way.
Who was the co-captain in Buffalo with Briere? Who went to the Rangers?
Chris Drury?
No, it wasn't Drew.
Oh,
Okay.
he wouldn't have been shooting, right?
Yeah. Wow, that's good. That's good.
No, he was.
French Canadian kid. Is there a French Canadian kid that? Yeah. What the heck was his name? P.A. Parenteau.
He scored the goal for the Rangers.
Yeah, P.A. Parenteau. I have no
What?
idea who the other one is.
Third one.
I don't know.
I think he was from Denmark, if I'm remembering this right.
The third guy?
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm sorry, I lied. He's from Canada.
I don't know.
Eric Christensen.
Eric,
Really? Really?
No wonder they didn't win the game.
He was the first shooter for the Rangers.
All right.
What the hell were they thinking? Those shooters. My goodness.
That's wild.
That's pretty bad.
Parenteau scored, though.
Now, I remember Parenteau
Yeah.
scoring.
I just can't believe Boucher beat Lundqvist.
I know.
That is wild.
That was the
That was
wildest
wild.
thing.
Good
And it sent the city on one of the most memorable cup runs in
In a long time.
recent history, that's for sure. Nice job with the intern Andrew trivia
job.
time. Sorry that we had to cut you short. Maybe
That's all
we'll
right.
Great
we'll
job,
bring you
kid.
back on post game for a little bit more.
We'll see.
Wow. And there he goes, ladies and gentlemen.
We'll see.
Number 4 in your programs, number 1 in your hearts. Intern Andrew. We will be back post game here on the Press Row Show. If you haven't done so already, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the Snow the Goalie YouTube channel, and we will see all of you post game. We'll see if the Flyers can hang on. Will this go to overtime? And
Stop.
remains to be seen.
AP
Probably.
story coming.
Welcome into the Press Row Show, the #1 rated pregame, intermission, and postgame show. This side of the Mississippi, south of the Arctic Circle, north of the equator. Woo! They did it. There was a blue wave.
Well,
it was very late, Bundy. It's about 3 weeks too late. The blue wave, we saw it.
The blue
MSNBC
wave
promised a blue wave, and it went right out the gates. Right out the gates with about a minute or so left in the game as the Flyers, Travis Konechny buries the empty net goal, 3-1. Down go the Rangers. Many Rangers fans, they're leaving here, Bundy. Look at them. They're so sad. They're incredibly sad. Bundissimo. What an effort.
I actually thought that I thought the Rangers had a really good second period, and I thought they stunk again in the third.
Yep.
They had some press plays when they had the man advantage on the 6-on-5, but man, they had a couple chances. That one save Fedotov made on the 6-on-5 was just ridiculous. I mean, that was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Through the pad, kick
left
save,
pad, yep.
and a beauty.
Yep.
And but I give the Flyers credit. A good start in this game ended up winning the hockey game for them. They had a great first period, took a lot of the will of the Rangers away in this hockey game, and they went on to, I think, do exactly. Listen, it wasn't a great second period. They haven't been great in the second period all year, but it's okay. They kept the damage at a minimal. They had the lead going into the third period, and they added to that lead while keeping the Rangers at bay. So they did a great job. Something's wrong with the New York Rangers. I don't know what it is. I told Anthony before the first period ended that I was afraid that the Rangers were going to break out of whatever they were funk that they're in.
Yep.
And they looked better in the second, but they kind of reverted back again in the third. So I don't know if I'm the Chris Drury, their GM, or Laviolette, their coach right now, I have to be concerned because they look really disjointed. And the Flyers, in turn to them, you don't really know who you're getting some nights.
Yep.
And I mean that's being fair to say the least. If you look at the Nashville game, I mean, if they played a good team in the Nashville game, they get blown out. But they find a way to win the hockey game. It wasn't their best night. And then tonight they come out and they had maybe one of their best games of the year. So, again, there's a lot of parity in this league, and the Rangers now look like they're almost about a 500 team now too. They're just where the Flyers are, essentially. They're one game better than the Flyers in the win-loss column.
It's pretty wild when you look at Ivan Fedotov especially. This win, another strong performance by him, holds the Rangers to a single goal. We said coming into this one, the Rangers had lost 4 straight. They were still putting up goals. They were still kind of keeping themselves in things. This performance tonight, now, you look back at the first period, it was, I believe, 4 shots on goal in the first. It was a very dominant Flyers period. Could have easily been 4-0, 5-0. Shesterkin kept that team in that game after the first. Second period was kind of like the tale of two different teams, tale of 2 games in a sense, where the Rangers looked significantly better, chipped back in, got back in to within a goal. The third period, to your point, the Rangers looked like they had kind of regressed back to that team from the first period, although I would say that they were still better in the third than they were in the first, but not by much. And there have to be legitimate concerns there, and obviously we're not a Rangers show, so we're not going to focus on them too much. There were some questions out there about whether or not Peter Laviolette's message might be falling on deaf ears there. I don't know if they've quit on this coach. We saw a couple of people in the comments saying here that they think that the Rangers have quit on Laviolette. I wouldn't say they quit on him. They might be tuning him out a little bit, though. And as we saw with this Flyers team earlier in the season, you can tune out a coach, you can tune him back in. You start winning, you get back to your winning ways, and all of a sudden maybe you get back on track. But there aren't a lot of things with this Rangers team right now that have to give you a lot of hope if you're a New York fan right now. The biggest hope that you have is that Shesterkin keeps you in games like he did in this one. But their inability to create any real high-danger chances outside of that second period, Bundy, is pretty wild.
Their skill players have probably had it easy for too long, and guys like Zibanejad, who've a lot of time and space. Now, when you cut his time and space away, you can see how much harder it is to play the game. Panarin, he was another guy that he really struggled out here today, Panarin. You don't say that often, but he did. He did not have a good game for the Rangers in a game they sorely needed him. Chris Kreider out of the lineup, I think, hurts their team. He takes a powerful force away from the front of the net. Very competitive.
Bundy. That is Bundy.
All right, brother. Have a great day. Thanks for coming out.
He was just letting me know that you're Bundy.
Oh, okay.
Just in case I didn't know.
Just in case you weren't aware.
He actually triple checked him. He said, "That's Bundy." He didn't say, "Is that Bundy?" He said, "That's Bundy." I said, "Yes, it is. That's Bundy. It is. That's Bundy." So we got 3. Is this a sign that Anthony SanFilippo's done the AP story?
Hey, I'm just making sure that they got it. But they got it.
Well, Anthony's writing that stuff when he's here at the end of the games and you see him. Just remember, it's just cha-ching going in his pocket right there.
It's like
just cha-ching.
It's maddening.
Cha-ching. He just keeps pulling that lever.
This guy, he gets the AP stuff. He goes on the Fox channel, the Fox 29 sports show. He's just everywhere. The people love Anthony.
They do. The lovable human being.
Now look at these Rangers fans as they leave. We're not going to let's not draw too much attention. There's one Flyers fan though in this group, looking pretty happy after that one. All right.
You guys will find your
have a good
again.
ride home.
It'll be okay.
It'll be a safe ride home. It'll be okay.
It'll be okay. God, they were so
just four stinky Ranger fans just leaving here like you should have seen them.
They had their hands in their pockets.
They were the most dejected. Like they just lost.
Shucks.
They just lost Game 7 of the final.
Yep. The funny thing is,
dude, go home, have a piece of turkey and a beer, and just relax on your couch for the night. Chill out, dude.
That's exactly right. You know what though? I will say I didn't see that many contentious exchanges today.
No.
Between Flyers fans and Rangers fans.
It's the holidays.
Yeah, it felt like a respectful, like it was a rivalry game, but it was no, like I wasn't seeing people F-bombing each other, no way dumping beer on each other's heads. It was just kind of like And the Rangers fans came in here with a lot of chutzpah, even though their team had lost 4 straight. But man, an early 2-0 deficit, if you're a New York fan,
It felt like a little bit like a post-election. Kind of a little bit felt like Democrats against Republicans a little bit. That's what it was before. But they really have nothing to say today.
There's nothing.
Yeah, all right, Flyers fans.
See?
Woo! Get those stinky Ranger fans out of the building.
That's right. Here we go. Here's some more Rangers fans.
Look at the Rangers. You got to see the Rangers fans.
They just
look at these people. They look like they've lost. Like it's amazing.
We should actually turn the camera on the people as they're walking out.
We need a camera. We do need a reverse angle camera.
Well, we should use intern Andrew's camera as the backup. You know, as the live.
We could always do
or
that. Or
use the phone or the iPad or something. See, this is where the intern has to have just a little bit more intrinsic motivation. You know, he's got to start to become a little bit more of an innovator. You know, walking around through the crowd. He could do that after the game. We don't send you down anymore for potato cam, although I heard that might be changing.
Yes.
But he could be walking through the upper level here, getting some live fan reaction. Nothing. Anyway.
You're not missing anything in the first 25 or 30 games pregame, like at downstairs, like to do an interview.
Yeah.
So we're just waiting to get out. After we pretty much, you're going to have some time to go down, though, right, Ed? Eventually.
Yeah. There's going to be an announcement probably next week.
Okay.
Is that as in the week coming up?
As in coming up, yeah.
Like in a few days, like 3,
all
4,
I was
5
told,
days
all I
from
was
now.
told was it would be announced after the holiday. So, but whether it's immediately like Monday or I don't know what day. But
look at more Ranger fans.
Soon.
Look at all these Ranger fans.
We said during the game there were a lot of Rangers fans here tonight. I said I thought it was going to be 60-40. Ant said 70-30. Andrew said 65-35. It probably settled into 60-40. Or sorry, into 70-30. Hilf was on here, second intermission, and said 80-20.
Super optimistic.
But then
Hilf.
he did say that he exaggerates sometimes. It was definitely like a 70-30. It wasn't 80-20. But here come more Rangers fans. You know what, though? All things... What?
We're live right now on. We're live.
Yeah, we're live. We're live, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's not television. No, this is.
Yeah, it's Amazon.
Sure.
Yep.
No, we're live.
It's
there
live.
are people watching us right
it's
now.
live.
Yeah, they actually hear us talking to you.
Let's go Penguins.
Penguins fan.
Down the crapper, I think. The Penguins. Yes. Yeah,
This is hysterical.
Is Sidney Crosby getting stem cells and plasma? Because otherwise,
online.
It's interesting.
Online.
That guy looked about
Online,
as
like YouTube.
That guy looked like he
fake.
aged a lot. Look at this.
Yeah.
That's right.
The one guy looked like
the guy
I did
who was
circa
here,
2005.
the guy who was here advocating for the. There we go,
Yes.
kids. Good
There we
job.
go. Good
kids,
job,
yeah.
Flyer fans.
These kids are going to get to see a winner someday.
Oh.
That's it. You know, that guy who was advocating for the Penguins, he looked like he aged about 30 years and probably like the last 5 or so, knowing that the Penguins are an irrelevant franchise when Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin
He
are.
was a little bit overserved.
He looked a little, poor
That was
guy.
an interesting group.
Poor guy.
The leader
That
of the
was.
group who was trying to get them to
Rangers
move.
fans very nice today, though. Ranger
were.
fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't all arrogant.
The woman who was leading that group and trying to get them to get on the elevator over there, she was wearing a Shorzy shirt.
She was.
Yeah, I saw that.
Do you also like you also like the 20-something-year-old girls who looked at us and were like, YouTube's totally legit.
Yeah.
Do you hear them?
Yeah.
Because there was the one guy go, oh, you want Amazon?
Yeah.
He was on like his 7th IPA of the night.
Yeah.
I judge people who drink like 7 IPAs.
It does feel good beating these Rangers today, though.
It does.
The Black Friday game. It's a symbolic game for the team.
It is.
Well,
it's
been a rough year for Philadelphia versus New York when you think about it, right?
Yep.
Right.
The Sixers lost to the Knicks in the playoffs a year ago. The Phillies lost to the Mets, right? All right, okay, football doesn't really count because New York doesn't really have a football
New York
team.
doesn't have football teams. New Jersey has two.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jets and Giants don't count.
They don't count.
They're not New York teams.
Right. But so it's been a tough year. And, the Flyers lost to the Rangers during the regular season last year in important games. So, like, you know what? This was it's kind of like a small little monkey on the back, but they got it off. They got a little small monkey off the back today.
They did. You always get some measure when you have a game that people are really into, and they are. This is a game like you kind of circle and say, all right, we're going to have a great time. It's a home game. We're going to get blasted out with the noise in that crowd, and I think it was a perfect way to
When the
play.
Rangers scored, it was, I will give credit, because this is just who I am. I will give credit to the 30% Rangers fans in the building, because when they scored a goal, it was a good, loud response. Now, again, it was the 30% of the crowd. But
hey, I got another Jersey thing for you.
What are you seeing now?
When two guys come to a game together,
they
can't wear the same guy's jersey.
And it's the same style.
It's the same color.
Is that a man law?
Yeah, I think that.
Well, maybe they both.
Maybe they're friends of intern Andrews if they're breaking man laws.
Well, because you followed us into the bathroom.
But we're asking you. Put your mic on.
Let's bring intern Andrew onto the show.
You think intern Andrew has a Franklin jersey from Penn State with a 0 on the back?
Oh, I bet you he probably
00 Franklin.
If not, he probably has a quarter zip to match James Franklin.
Wanted to ask you your opinion.
I actually have an autographed. I have an autographed.
What does that even mean?
I want to ask you your opinion on something.
Go ahead.
So these two guys just walked by. They were at the game together. They came to the game together, both wearing the same exact Travis Sanheim jersey.
It was the Winter Classic one.
Yeah, is that a violation that they're both wearing the same color, same jersey of the same player?
I don't think it is. Why would it be a violation?
Unless they're family. It's to me like I think it's.
Well, you don't know. You didn't ask them. You just assumed, and you can't do that.
No, unless they're family of Travis Sanheim.
Well, they might be. You don't know.
Right. That would be my only
6'5" people. But
personally, if I had other jerseys at my disposal, I would probably ask him and then try to wear something different. But like if they don't, I don't have a big issue.
Maybe Modell's was having a sale today. It is Black Friday after all.
Modell's? Do they even exist anymore?
I don't know. Maybe Rally House.
Modell.
Pick your.
Gotta go to Moe's. I was in a Modell's commercial before with me and Lindros and LeClaire.
Yes, I remember this commercial.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were dressed up as different sports people. I'm like, I'm here with these two. What am I doing here with these two guys?
I think that we need to clear the air on something here because I see that Deirdre's here and she's saying that we were really picking on her kid today. Her kid is intern Andrew.
I'm fine. I'm a man.
Deirdre. I gotta speak to her because she's a wonderful, phenomenal actress, right?
Great person.
She's from an awesome person.
I don't know how this happened, but great person.
But she knows a little bit about something about playing a character. And intern Andrew is a great character.
Is he an actor too?
No.
But he acts.
You are.
I think he is because he's convinced that James Franklin is a good coach. I think it has to be a shtick. No one believes
intern
that.
Andrew is a great character.
Andrew
Henry is a different. He's a good person, right? So
intern Andrew stinks.
But my character's not a good person.
Intern Andrew.
Bad person.
Intern Andrew is a character.
We never said
he's
that.
a character.
He's a character.
I'm just saying, if Penn State wins a playoff game, I am going to be insufferable on this show.
Yeah.
It depends who they
yourself.
play.
No, it doesn't.
Dude, there's
Yeah,
any SEC
There it is
team is
again.
just licking their chops for
you
Penn
said
State.
that. You
James
said that whole
Franklin
thing.
haters
Oh.
continue to move the goalposts.
Well, let me tell you
to
something,
fit their
Bundy.
narrative.
you know
Bundy,
why he's
Bundy,
getting-
I'm going
you
to
know why
tell
he's
you that
getting excited right now?
if Georgia ends up in Happy Valley,
No. You know why he's getting excited right now? Because the most recent layout is for them to play Indiana, which is a team that they would beat. Because Indiana's not
Indiana's
good
a
enough.
pretender.
Right.
That's not an SEC.
I think the biggest pretender in the Big Ten is Penn State.
They're
They are.
Yeah, they're the most overrated.
Indiana
team.
lost their first game to Ohio State.
How are
last
they a
week.
bigger pretender than Indiana?
Biggest fraud there is? Yeah.
Why?
Well, look at the games.
Well, Indiana.
they've
No,
won.
but
I mean,
because they're ranked much higher than Indiana.
Yeah,
That's why they're not
a four.
Everything you read and everything you say, people are just like stunned that the committee is keeping Penn State at number 4.
Okay, so who should be ahead of them? Let's do this exercise right
well,
now.
the problem is
We
the
don't need to do
SEC
that.
is so good it doesn't matter. They'd be 5th or 6th in the SEC.
Yeah.
That is true.
How do you know that?
I just watch their teams.
Yeah.
I watch them.
You saw Alabama get their.
I did. They're not. They're
Watch the
down. They're a
language.
little-
Watch the
don't
language,
you do
young
it.
man.
Don't you do it.
You saw Alabama play against Oklahoma, correct? How about
Yeah.
How did Ole Miss do against Florida and Kentucky?
Yeah, I know they lost.
Oh,
They
okay.
lost.
That's weird because Penn State doesn't lose to those kinds of teams.
Wow, what's that supposed to
Those
be?
kinds of
Those
teams.
kinds of
They
teams?
never
Can we say that in
because they
2024?
never play them
who do they
because they're
beat?
never in a playoff.
Who do they beat is the question.
Maybe Illinois. Illinois is ranked.
Dude, that's a perennial team. It's like in the top 10 once every 10 years.
How did Notre Dame do against Northern Illinois this year?
If that happens, it
There we go.
happens.
Right,
There
that's
we
what I'm
go.
saying. Like, name teams that are better than Penn State.
Why did we even bring them on?
Penn
Why
Penn
did we do
State is
this?
not better than Notre Dame.
You know, here
Notre
we
Dame's
are.
better
Yes, they
than
are.
Penn State.
Here
No,
we
yes,
are,
they are.
the second year of doing this and having intern Andrew. We try to give him an increased role. He does the stat of the night during first intermission. He does trivia time and the second intermission. We bring him on post. We had him on pregame a little bit. Look what he does.
Yeah.
You started it.
The disrespect of this young man.
But we love him, Deirdre, just so you know.
We do.
He did cause a stir. We don't have to talk about why he caused a stir, but he caused a problem the other night in our group chat as we were monitoring the events in Nashville.
I've been laughing for 3 days.
And
I'm just going to stop texting you guys.
let's just
I'll text
say
my friends. They're nice to me.
intern Andrew's hair was blown back. If it doesn't look as well kept
It was
as
the
usual,
RCA commercial. Remember the RCA commercial?
No.
No, you don't. You guys don't. You remember the RCA commercial? The guy sitting in the chair, and they turn up the speakers.
Oh no, I do remember
Or
that.
not-
He gets,
it
he's
wasn't-
sitting
it
in like a
wasn't RCA.
recliner.
It was
It was for Circuit City, wasn't it? He's sitting
No,
in the
it was,
thing and it gets blown back.
Magnavox.
Okay.
And he would be sitting in the chair, and he's turning up the music, and all of a sudden the sound blows his hair back.
Timmy.
And he's sitting there. Yeah, pretty sure that's what it was. Or JVC? Was it JVC?
Who
Lucky
knows?
said
Ryan A
JVC.
says, "Did you guys ever find Nolan Patrick? Remember pregame? We thought we saw Nolan Patrick. Intern Andrew didn't chase him down, so no, we didn't."
It wasn't him. I support intern.
CMAC says that Penn State has 0 wins versus
Memorex.
ranked teams this year. Is that true?
CMAC doesn't know ball. Illinois is ranked.
Were they ranked at
Were
the
they
time of
ranked
them
when they
playing?
played them?
They absolutely were.
Were
And they're
they?
still
Well,
ranked.
I'm going with
Were they?
CMAC. The CMAC sounds pretty. Like he sounds dead. He goes, Andrew, 0, Andrew, 0.
You got to
But
be
that's
careful
a
with
very,
CMAC though.
very simple Google
CMAC
search.
is from up Skook way, and sometimes it takes longer for the internet to get all the way
And
up.
by the way, I wonder if Allison is on top of CMAC's shenanigans. Yeah.
Shenanigans. Why did he change his prediction?
No, he
a few
doesn't
times?
change them. He doesn't change
Does
them.
he update them?
No, but he doesn't submit it until like
I'm going with CMAC on
a
this
little
one.
bit
Illinois
later
was
into
ranked
the, a
number
little bit
19.
later into the
I just
game.
looked it up.
Oh
So-
boy.
Just look it up. It's
So I
just
hope
simple
Allison
Google
was
That was
paying
a
attention.
soft early season ranking, though.
Okay, yeah. But they're ranked now.
Well, Adam B here with a good point. Andrew's correct about Illinois, but Illinois did almost lose to 1-10 Purdue.
Yeah,
there you go. See?
Almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you
we're
go.
dealing with almost.
There you go. I think that's probably it.
Thank you, Beach Hill Aquatics. CMAC is wrong.
Hey, I'm going to take your power away from bringing these comments up. We don't need intern Andrew
'em.
propaganda
Shut him off.
bringing down the Press Row Show post game. God. All right.
I love this.
As we look at, and I just, really quick, I was looking to see if it's been updated yet. ESPN.com a little bit behind on some things. Now it looks like the stats have been maybe reflected. I think possibly. Does this sound right? Is Fedotov a 3.25 goals against?
That's better. That's after today.
That's after today?
Yes.
You're sure?
Yes.
Okay.
It was before. It was higher before that.
Okay. So 3.25 goals against. I threw out a hypothetical. We will talk. I need like the 7 people on Twitter who've become insufferable about this to understand something. We have been working with the team to figure out when we're going in the studio. They want us to do the weekly show in the studio. Ant had a honeymoon. It's been the holidays. We have a couple people out there who are like, Snow the goalie. Are they just the Press Row Show now? They don't do shows anymore. You can ask for a refund from intern Andrew if you're that upset. I threw out a hypothetical. I think it'll be worth having a conversation next week. They're not going to do it, but Fedotov and Kolosov have played particularly well of late without Sam Emerson in the mix. You have to imagine that at some point there will be a team that'll make a call to the Flyers about one of these netminders. I would think that Kolosov is probably the lowest on the totem pole there. But could the Flyers potentially entertain a trade of either Ivan Fedotov or Sam Emerson? I think it's a worthwhile conversation. You take a look at some teams across the league that might need goaltending help. What could that get them? All that. Perhaps it's a conversation to have.
You just want to trade everybody.
No, I don't.
I would hate to see Russ running a sports franchise. The team would never win.
I'll tell you what.
They would always be chasing that the top pick. Got to get that top pick. Got to chase it.
I mean, listen, if you run a team like Ant, you're perpetually in purgatory, and then you know.
Nope.
Yep, every time.
Nope.
Rubber stamp for this franchise for about a decade now with Mr. Ant San.
No, I
this
don't.
guy
I
over
have
here.
not rubber stamped this franchise.
Pretty much. You told me Chuck Fletcher was a good GM for a long time. So we have to take a look tomorrow, Saturday. Flyers play the Blues in St. Louis. They are back here. I mean, nice long gap. They are not back here at Wells Fargo Center or back on the ice after Saturday until Thursday at home against the Panthers. Guys, I feel like we will find a time between now and next Thursday to do an episode of Snow the Goalie.
Well, we got to reach out to them to see if we can finally come down and use the studio.
The studio's going to be nice.
It is nice. It's done.
Well, I'm
I
just
was
saying,
in
it's
there
gonna-
earlier
it's gonna be
today.
nice.
They broadcast the pregame from there.
They do.
Bundy's in there all the time.
Where?
Studio.
Oh, yeah. That's where we broadcast now. That's where we're going to be doing it. Yeah. We need some more. So bring some memorabilia because we have shelves behind it we're trying to fill. Right now we have Brian Prop's book.
Okay.
And,
Is your book back there?
No, I forgot it. I'll bring one in.
It should be there.
I forgot. I just forgot it.
How can they not have stuff?
That's a good question.
Yeah, we need to get like these little helmets need to go on here, and it's a bare shelf right now.
Ant's pee bottle should go on a shelf somewhere.
Yes, it should.
I didn't see his
putting in
pee
this-
bottle today.
It's
I
in
brought a
Snapple
Snapple.
bottle now.
I brought a Snapple
It's
today.
trying to disguise it with peach.
I have another one, by the way.
Another what?
Water with the crystal light in it. It's in my bag. I just didn't.
You say crystal meth? No?
Yeah.
All right, it's time for us to end. I want to thank everybody who joined us here on this Black Friday. I know that not everybody goes out of their way on a Black Friday to watch a matinee, to hop here on YouTube. A lot of people did on YouTube, X, and Facebook. If you haven't done so already, go over to the Snow the Goalie YouTube channel, like the video, share the video, subscribe. And then in the regular comments, not the live comments, in the regular comments section, let us know what your favorite thing was that happened in this game. The algorithm likes it, Anthony.
No,
Tell us
I
first.
was
What are you
laughing at a
laughing
comment.
What's so funny, giggly bits?
Our Hexel 87 wants to bring in a Ryan Ellis Chia Pet for the studio.
Our Hexel 87, if you have a way to get that Ryan Ellis Chia Pet, we will put it on a shelf. Now, Jason Martinez might not want it on those shelves behind him, but we will take it. Do we have any Yori Laterra party favors? It's time for us to go.
Speaking of Yori Laterra,
Jesus.
no, I'm ready to go. But speaking of, one quick comment. Speaking of Yori Laterra,
That's supposed to be like a drive-by, and then you just end.
the Flyers are playing the Blues tomorrow, and I'm concerned that game is a little bit of a letdown game.
Could be.
Just
New
throwing-
coach in St. Louis.
Just throwing that out
New
there.
energy. Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Anyway, that's it.
Does Penn State play tomorrow?
Yeah, Maryland.
Playing Maryland.
Is Maryland any good?
Maryland's like a JV high school team.
Maryland's 4-7.
I look forward to tomorrow.
JV high school
Do
team.
you look forward to the text tomorrow? Hey, guys. I don't know if you saw, but James Franklin had another dominant performance as the head coach.
You can't claim a
of
win
the
over a
Nittany
really
Lions.
bad team like that.
Just keep moving the goalposts.
Why are
It's
they
fine.
called Terrapins?
SEC doesn't have a Maryland in their
They're
division.
turtles.
Yes, they do.
They don't have a. They don't
They
not.
absolutely
not.
do.
No, they don't. Who are you going to say? Vanderbilt?
Yes.
They beat Alabama